Good morning to everyone here in Colorado Springs and to the west, and good afternoon to everyone else to the east. My name is Bobby Goldwater. I'm with the Goldwater Group and very pleased to serve as one of the consultants for this wonderful occasion. On behalf of the athletic directors, the coaches, and others who are representing 6 outstanding institutions, welcome to this news conference on a very special and historic day for collegiate hockey. To begin, we'd like to get some words of welcome and acknowledgments from our very wonderful and gracious host, the athletic director of Colorado College, Ken Ralph.
I can't tell you how happy I am you could all join us here today. This is a wonderful occasion for all of us, and for those of us who enjoy seeing hockey at the highest levels, this is a monumental occasion. I'd also like to welcome everybody who's joining us on the feed through America One. And I'd like to thank our SID, Dave Reed, for making sure that feed was available nationwide. And I'd also like to welcome the people who are joining us via our audio feed. The decision to host this announcement at Penrose House was intentional. Okay, the Penrose family has a long history of involvement with college ice hockey. I don't know how many of you really know, but the Broadmoor Hotel at one time housed a riding arena. And it was through the wisdom of Julie and Spencer Penrose that they decided to alter the flooring configuration and install ice and create the Broadmoor Ice Palace. And the Penrose family used shows in the Ice Palace, both figure skating exhibitions and hockey games, to entertain their hotel guests. And Julie Penrose furthered this involvement in the game of ice hockey and worked with a group of young men at Colorado College and formed the first ice hockey team back in 1939. Julie really became the first superfan of Tiger hockey. And the passion of the Broadmoor Hotel for supporting the sport of ice hockey grew. And the Broadmoor Hotel became the host for the first 10 NCAA ice hockey championships. And so the Broadmoor Hotel will be forever linked with the history of college ice hockey. And that's one of the reasons we are here today. And many people also will know, if you've followed hockey closely, that the Division I Coach of the Year is handed the Spencer Penrose Award to acknowledge their accomplishments in that season. And we have 3 Spencer Penrose Award winners sitting up here in front of us today. So the choice to be here at Penrose House is very intentional because of the link to the history of college ice hockey. I would like to acknowledge a couple of people before we move to the main portion of our program. First off, the Penrose House staff. I could not picture a more gracious or more competent group of people. Jane Mead has been absolutely wonderful, and Phil and Ross as well. You've certainly earned your reputations here in town as being exceptional hosts, and we thank you for all your efforts on our behalf. The El Pomar Foundation, and Bill Hibble is here with us today, as is Dave Palanchar. We thank you not just for your support of nonprofits in the region, but for allowing us to utilize this facility and to launch our new venture here today. So Bill and Dave, thank you so much. And the Colorado Springs Sports Corporation and their fine CEO, Tom Osborne, thank you very much for helping make these arrangements possible. There are also many, many Sports Corp board members here today. It's the Colorado Springs Sports Corp has really made Colorado Springs a key destination nationwide for amateur and professional sports, and without their assistance, this would not be possible, so thank you very much. Our Colorado College staff really put in extra time to make sure this press conference and events surrounding it have gone off well, so thank you to all of our staff. And I'd like to acknowledge 2 folks that are very special to us here in Colorado College. First of all, our outgoing president, Dick Celeste, who served the college so admirably for 9 years. Dick, thank you very much for your service to the college and your support of ice hockey. And we're thrilled to welcome our incoming president on her 3rd day on the job, Dr. Jill Tiefenthaler, who formerly provost at Wake Forest University and is now installed as president here at Colorado College. Thank you for joining us, and thank you for your support of college ice hockey. I want to turn this back over to Bobby Goldwater.
Thank you, Ken. So the order of events for the news conference, we'll be making some introductions to the people who are sitting here in the front, the head coaches and the athletic directors representing the 6 universities. We will have an unveiling of the name of the conference, some remarks from a coach and from an athletic director. We'll take some time for some questions. And then we will be dividing up into later in a little while, after the news conference, we'll be putting together interview sessions for each individual institution with the head coach and the athletic director. So that's what we're planning to do. We will start with introductions of everyone who is up front here with us. It's been a privilege to get to know them. First, to my left and your right, the associate coach of Miami University, Brent Berkey. Next, the coach of Nebraska Omaha, Dean Blaise. Next to him is the head coach of North Dakota, Dave Haxtell. Next to him, the coach of Colorado College, Scott Owens. And next to him, the head coach of the national champions, Minnesota Duluth, Scott Sandelin. We will skip the next head coach because he's going to be introduced in a moment to speak to you. Over to my right, we have Trev Alberts, the athletic director at Nebraska Omaha, followed by the athletic director of Minnesota Duluth, Bob Nielsen. Next is the associate athletic director for Miami University, Josh Fenton. Next to him, Peg Bradley Doppus, the athletic director of the University of Denver, followed by Ken Ralph, who you met. And now we will have two people who will be unveiling the name and speaking to you. First, the head coach of the University of Denver, George Gwizdacki, and the athletic director of North Dakota, Brian Faison. I'd like to ask the two of them to come up to reveal the name of the conference.
Today, I am proud to formally announce that 6 outstanding institutions that represent 6 of the best men's college hockey programs in the country, Colorado College, the University of Denver, Miami University, the University of Minnesota Duluth, the University of Nebraska Omaha, and the University of North Dakota, have founded the National Collegiate Hockey Conference. Competition in the National Collegiate Hockey Conference will commence with the 2013-14 season. In the meantime, we will continue our commitment and participation in the WCHA in the case of the 5 of us, and the CCHA in Miami's case. We have respect for those conference members and the work of the dedicated conference staff and look forward to our next 2 seasons of competition. As many of you know, the collegiate athletics climate has been particularly volatile this year, with conference realignment affecting a number of sports and universities. In college hockey, in the new conference, during this time, each of our institutions' top priority has been to ensure the best academic and competitive conference home for our men's hockey programs and to continue to provide our loyal fans with the best in competition. 6 like-minded institutions have come together through this process guided by 4 core principles: competitiveness, an institutional commitment to hockey at the highest level, national exposure, and history and tradition. Each of the 6 institutions came to the conclusion that the formation of the new conference was absolutely the right decision for our respective institutions, our hockey programs, and our fans. The journey to get to today's announcement has been intense. It's gone on for many, many months, with all 6 institutions involved in extensive individual and collective due diligence and many, many hours of deliberation. There has been a great spirit of partnership, of cooperation, that has developed between the 6 institutions in the formation of the National Collegiate Hockey Conference, even to the point where I actually like George. Just for our coaches, and we have 6 of the most accomplished coaches in college hockey in the new conference, have been important players in this process. Our respective institutions' presidents and chancellors have been kept thoroughly informed throughout the process and have been enthusiastically supported. I would now like to turn to head coach George Gwozdecki for a few remarks on behalf of the coaches. And I apologize, George.
Thank you, Brian. Ladies and gentlemen, we were all sitting in the back room here preparing for today's event, and it kind of felt an awful lot like to sitting before the big game back in the coach's locker room and finalizing your remarks and chatting and joking a little bit with your coaching staff to kind of get forget about what the big event that you're going to be coming up to is all about. This is exciting today. This is exciting for myself, our university, my fellow coaches and their universities. We would first like to, on behalf of my fellow coaches, I would like to thank the WCHA and Bruce McLeod and the CCHA and Fred Pletch for the 6 years of membership, for the many years of membership, I should say. All of our schools are thankful to be members, and we look forward to 2 more years of competition in these storied leagues. Our 6 members of this new league, the National Collegiate Hockey Conference, have a great tradition of competing with college hockey's top programs. We will continue to provide that level of competition with our new league. Forming this conference was important and necessary for a number of reasons. We needed to know about our future. We were facing uncertainty going forward, especially relating to scheduling and recruiting. The landscape of college hockey is changing, and we're focused on what makes the game better and what enhances hockey for these 6 institutions. We are excited about the future as we move forward with these institutions that share our historical commitment to championship level hockey. This new league provides a strong strength of schedule with 6 terrific hockey programs. We are thrilled to be forming this new league with traditional rivals North Dakota, Colorado College, and 2011 NCAA champion Minnesota Duluth, and also looking forward to developing annual rivalries with Nebraska Omaha and Miami. 6 outstanding institutions aligned with 4 guiding principles. We're very, very excited about this opportunity. Thank you.
Finally, what are the immediate next steps for the conference? Number 1, to set up a nonprofit corporation. Number 2, and probably the most important, to hire a conference commissioner. Number 3, to research and vet additional members. And number 4, to conduct extensive work in possible media platforms for the new conference. Providing assistance to us in these efforts will be our consultants, the Goldwater Group, and Stafford Sports. The National Collegiate Hockey Conference will provide some of the very best that college has to offer. Intense rivalries, great coaches, outstanding student athletes in the classroom and on the ice, and the very best fans. It all gets started with the drop of the puck to start the 2013-14 season. We'll now stand, Coach and I will now stand for some questions. George, you want to go back up? No.
Close, not that.
Not so much. Not so much.
Brian, how did this all get started? Who started the conversations?
I think it started mutually, believe it or not. We had conversations going back in the fall with Minnesota and Wisconsin having to make that move to the Big Ten, and the conversation just kind of drew schools together, and one thing led to another, and we all seemed to have the same core values and where we needed to go with the program. So I think it was kind of a mutual thing. I don't think it was 1 or 2 individuals.
Has it been established what conference headquarters will be?
No.
Is Notre Dame in the mix? Have they been offered that?
Notre Dame has been in conversations with us, and we'll continue those conversations. They are certainly a program that meets the core values of our conference, and we have an interest, and they're continuing to explore their options. But the best answer to that question is to talk with Notre Dame.
George,
I don't know if there's more to say than what Brian has said. There has been discussions, and they're ongoing.
There'll be a process for schools that have an interest in joining the conference, and that process will be vetted, worked through the Goldwater Group and Stafford Sports.
Is there a target goal for how many schools you want in this conference?
No, I think there are lots of different arguments to be made for different sizes and numbers and how many conference games versus non-conference games you end up with. I think the key is to make sure that we have the best schools committed and be able to meet the core values of the conference. That's the key.
Some of the fans in Colorado here have expressed to me that with the losing of the Minnesota, Wisconsin, Michigan schools, that this move is kind of panic mode before you realize what the other two leagues had left. Anything like that, or did that play into this at all?
Not from my perspective, and certainly not in the conversations and the deliberations we had, no. And this was not in haste. I mean, this has been a process that's gone on for a better part of the year, and it's been a very measured, involved process at that. So no haste, no panic.
What's the timetable for hiring a commissioner?
As soon as we can reasonably go through that process, there are some steps that have to be taken. Job description, how we're going to post the job, those kind of issues. We are going to become incorporated. We have to get that done first. Once that's done, I think the process will move along fairly soon. But we want to get the right person for the job, and having a timeline, and that's probably inappropriate. Thank you.
Thank you both. What will be, just to go through the order of events for the rest of the day here, we will have both Brian and George available for interviews. Brian here in this room. Right after the news conference, if anyone wants some additional one-on-ones. He'll also be available in the breakout room, which I will describe that order in just a moment. Interviews with George will take place in his interview room in a few moments. We will have a snack, some refreshments across the way in the dining room, where, as Ken mentioned earlier, the Spencer Penrose portrait hangs. It's a beautiful thing to see, especially with the history of hockey. We will be taking photographs. We'll be moving the banner that is behind us here and go into the library to the right for some still photographs if additional photographs want to be taken by the media. So we will do that as well. Also, there are a couple of thank yous to give before I give the schedule. One is to the sports information directors, both here and back at their universities. They are tremendous professionals, as I'm sure the media assembled here know, and we thank them very, very much. My colleague here today from Stafford Sports is Rich Oriolo, who is here and has been invaluable. And again, as was said earlier, but we cannot say it enough, I thank you to the Penrose House and everybody here, Mr. Hibble, everyone. It's been an extraordinary experience to be here over the last couple of days. The interviews taking place for media only down this hall will be in the Cripple Creek room. Minnesota Duluth will be at noon, and Nebraska Omaha will be at 12:45. In the Penrose room further down the hall, Colorado College at noon, Denver at 12:45, and then upstairs on the second floor in the boardroom, Miami will be at noon, and North Dakota will be at 12:45. You're also, media is also may ask questions of anybody if you can grab them beforehand. We'd like to thank you very much for joining us, both here in the room and across the country. And we thank you for your attention and to celebrate this wonderful day with us. Thank you.